All right. Let's dive into this leadership thing.
We say leadership, but
Right.
what does that even mean?
Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? Everyone thinks they know
Right.
what leadership is until you ask them to define it.
Yeah.
And then they get this look on their face and they're like, wow, it's,
It's one of those things that everyone thinks they know
Yeah.
until they have to explain it.
exactly. Because leadership, unlike, gravity or
Yeah.
the speed of light,
Yeah.
it isn't this fixed law of the universe. It's something we've created, right? It's we give it meaning based on our own experiences, cultures,
yeah.
our values.
Yeah. It's like that word football.
Yes.
Here in the States, we think touchdowns, tailgates, the whole 9 yards.
Right, right.
But in most of the world, football means something totally different.
Totally. That's a perfect analogy.
Yeah.
Because just like our understanding of football depends on, well, where we are. Our understanding of leadership, it shifts depending on the context.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Right. What's considered like effective leadership in a tech startup
Totally different.
might be vastly different from what's needed to lead a
The social movement.
social movement, or even just like manage a family.
Okay, yeah.
Different contexts, different needs.
Okay, so thinking about all these different takes on leadership,
Yeah.
it's a lot. It can feel kind of overwhelming, to be honest.
Oh, absolutely. It can feel like you're trying to assemble a puzzle,
yeah.
but all the pieces are constantly changing shape.
Right.
You think you got a grasp on it,
Yeah.
and then boom, something shifts.
It's gone.
And you're totally lost.
Yeah.
And you know what?
Huh.
That's okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Because sometimes I feel like I'm the only one who doesn't have it figured out.
Trust me, you are not alone.
Okay.
Even the most, seasoned leaders out there,
Really?
scholars who have dedicated their entire lives to studying this,
Wow.
they will tell you that grappling with the complexities of leadership,
Yeah.
it's part of the journey.
I guess that makes sense.
It's not about having all the answers.
Mm-hmm.
It's about being willing to ask the questions,
Okay.
to learn and to grow and to embrace the messiness of it all.
I like that.
Because leadership, it's not a destination.
Right.
It's a journey.
That's a good way to look at it.
And like any good journey, it's full of unexpected twists and turns.
So we just have to enjoy the ride.
Exactly. Embrace the unknown. Be open to new perspectives.
Okay. I can do that.
And remember, you don't have to have it all figured out.
Because no one really does.
Exactly. We're all just figuring it out as we go.
That's actually kind of freeing.
It is. It's about being comfortable with the ambiguity
Yeah.
and being open to learning from our experiences.
So it's less about being perfect and more about being willing to grow.
Now you're getting it. Leadership isn't about perfection. It's about progress. It's about growth. And it's about embracing the journey, not just chasing the destination.
Okay, so if leadership is this big, complex thing that we're all kind of figuring out as we go,
Yeah.
why should we even care about trying to understand it?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it's one we'll unpack right after this quick break.
So if leadership is this big, complex thing that we're all kind of figuring out as we go,
Yeah.
why should we even care about trying to understand it?
That's a good question.
Mhm.
It's like, why bother trying to understand anything right?
Right.
But here's the thing. Leadership theories, whether we're aware of them or not,
Yeah.
they act like lenses we view the world through.
Okay.
They shape how we understand authority, how we interact in groups, and how we approach even the very act of leading.
So you're saying we're already operating from some kind of leadership theory,
Yes,
even if we've never actually sat down and thought about it.
precisely. We all have these preconceived notions about what good leadership looks like,
Yeah.
even if we haven't consciously chosen a specific theory.
So it's like we're all amateur leadership theorists, in a way.
Exactly. We're all constantly observing leadership in action,
Right.
formulating our own ideas about what works and what doesn't.
So where do these ideas come from?
Well, think about it. We're exposed to leadership from a very young age.
True.
Our parents, our teachers, even our friends,
Yeah.
they all play a role in shaping our understanding of leadership.
So it's like we're absorbing these leadership lessons from our environment.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And as we get older, we continue to learn from our experiences
Right.
in the workplace, in our communities, even in our personal lives.
So it's an ongoing process.
Exactly.
So how do we make sense of all these different leadership experiences?
That's where having a framework can be helpful.
A framework.
Yeah, like a set of lenses that can help us make sense of the complexities of leadership.
Okay.
There are a lot of different leadership theories out there,
I bet.
but they all share a common goal: to help us understand how leadership works and how we can become more effective leaders ourselves.
So it's not just about understanding other people's leadership.
No, it's about developing our own leadership skills as well.
I like that.
It's about becoming more aware of our own strengths and weaknesses and learning how to use our influence to make a positive impact in the world.
So where do we even begin? There are so many different theories out there.
Well, it can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
But don't worry. We're going to break it down for you.
Okay, good. Because I need all the help I can get.
We'll start by exploring some of the most popular leadership theories.
Okay.
And then we'll talk about how you can apply these theories to your own life.
Sounds good to me. I'm ready to dive in. So we've talked about the theory.
Yeah.
But how does this actually play out in the real world?
Right.
You know, with real people.
Well, that's where it gets interesting, right?
Right.
Because leadership isn't just an abstract concept.
Yeah.
It's something that people embody.
Okay.
And everyone's experience with leadership is going to be unique.
Right. Shaped by their own personal experiences, their cultural background, all of that.
You know, actually,
Yeah.
we got this really interesting story from one of our listeners.
Oh, yeah.
And it really highlights how our upbringing and early experiences
Yeah.
can really shape how we view leadership.
Absolutely.
Like sometimes without us even realizing it.
That's true.
This person was saying how they grew up with this distrust of authority figures stemming from some type family stuff.
Right.
And it made them question, like,
Yeah.
well, what is power?
Right.
And who gets to have it?
It's a question a lot of us grapple with, I think.
Right.
Especially as we start to examine our own relationship with authority.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so for this person, it really set them on this path of, like,
Yeah.
really trying to understand power dynamics.
Interesting.
They traveled to different countries, encountered different cultures,
Right.
learned about different leadership styles. It's really fascinating.
It's like they went on their own personal leadership quest. Yeah, exactly. They even started working with this organization
Oh, yeah?
called Roots of Hope.
I've heard of them.
They work on empowering young people in Cuba,
Amazing work.
isn't it? And you know what they realized?
What's that?
Instead of focusing solely on the challenges Cuban youth were facing,
Yeah?
they decided to empower them to become leaders in their own communities.
No, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's true leadership in action.
Right. And they told this incredible story about this Juani's Peace concert in Havana.
Wow, I remember that.
It was huge, right?
Yeah, that took a lot of work to pull off.
Right. Like organizing something like that.
Yeah.
Talk about navigating complex power dynamics.
Absolutely. You've got government officials, artists,
The community.
everyone had to be on board.
And it just goes to show that leadership isn't about,
Yeah.
wielding power over others.
It's about collaboration, right?
Exactly. It's about bringing people together around a shared vision
I love that.
and finding creative ways to make that vision a reality.
Beautifully said.
So as we wrap up this deep dive on leadership,
Yeah.
what are some key takeaways?
Yeah. What are you taking away from this?
Well, I think the biggest thing for me is that leadership isn't this,
Yeah.
mystical quality that some people just have and others don't.
Right.
It's a process. It's a practice.
Yeah.
And it's something that we can all cultivate.
100%.
It's about, understanding yourself, your
Mhm.
strengths, your weaknesses, how you influence others.
Being aware of the impact you have on others.
Exactly. And I think the more we understand about different leadership styles,
Right.
the more effective we can be in our own lives.
I completely agree.
Right.
And you know what? It's not just about being an effective leader.
Okay.
It's about creating a more just and equitable world.
Right.
It's about using our understanding of leadership to challenge systems of oppression,
Absolutely.
to amplify marginalized voices,
Yes.
and to create a world where everyone has the opportunity to lead,
Wow. That's a powerful vision.
and a vision worth striving for.
It really is. Well, on that note, I think we're about out of time.
Time flies when you're talking leadership, right?
Yeah, it really does. To all our listeners out there, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the world of leadership. We hope you found it insightful, engaging, and most of all, we hope it's inspired you to embrace your own leadership potential. Until next time, keep leading with courage, keep learning, and keep making a difference.
Here's to the leaders we are and the leaders we're yet to become.